Ha, I made it.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning, Grandma.
How are you?
I am fantastic.
Did you sleep well?
Okay,
It's
I'm
early.
hungry, but
Uh-huh.
besides that I'm good. Just hungry.
You still pescatarian?
I mean, mostly, but I eat chicken now, so you know how that is. Very,
Ah,
very pesky.
pesky. I mean,
Very, very pesky.
we can get into diet and exercise later. Let me start this up. Hello and welcome to the Social Butterfly Show. On today's show, we will be touching down on a fateful flower with my lovely guest. Go ahead, introduce yourself.
What's up, y'all? It's me, your boy, Mike Fade. That's
Who
what you
are
meant,
you?
right?
Yeah, like, what do you do? Who are you? What do you like to do? What's your goals?
I'm Mike Fade. I like long walks on the beach, and my favorite color is blue.
Okay. What's your occupation or job of choice? It doesn't have to be what you do every day, but what do you like to
um,
do?
I guess my occupation is musician, and I like to perform. I like throwing events sometimes, depending on the people I'm throwing them with, and if they can make it fun or not, or just if they can work with me, type shit. I like being a weed connoisseur too. That's been very nice for a while.
How long have you done those two things, being a musician and a weed connoisseur?
Musician, I'm in my 10th year right now, I believe, and weed connoisseur. I guess I'm about 4 or 5 years into that.
Nice. Do you have a history with weed that you like to share that made you such a connoisseur? Because you don't really hear about being a connoisseur. You usually just hear about people smoking it. I'm a stoner. It's my life.
I guess I'm different because I like to go meet the people who actually grow it, the CEOs of the business, and really get a feel for where the weed comes from. So I feel like good intentions are the best way to grow. So it's like when I go see all these facilities and get buds straight from the people who actually grow it, and they're like, "Well, this is my favorite strand," or "We want you to try this out. This is what we're proud of." It really tells you a lot about the company.
Mm-hmm.
It really tells you a lot about where it comes from and what you're putting into your body, which is always important.
Um, is weed your, because to me, to touch on like what I do, for me, weed is definitely a medicine or
Oh yeah.
cannabis. I think we should see it being a cannabis now, but it's like the more, not medical term, but more respectable, recognized term.
Hmm.
There's something else. Have you ever grown before, or are you interested in growing, or do you just appreciate
I
who has
might grow
touched
a
you?
little later in life, but I don't really have that green thumb to be, doing that shit right now. So I won't.
I'm not gonna try it. Okay. Um, well, in your news of being a musician, what are some recent events that you've done and anything coming up?
Um, yeah, April was a fucking super interesting month for me. Started off with me performing at my first Hash Bash Cup. Went into me hosting Top Shelf for Dies fashion show. What else did I do? I did Gage Green Group's first exclusive event with them. The 420 with the Reef Outdoor Festival, which we hosted. That was my first time hosting and helping put together a festival. So that was cool too. Then I had then I had Cashmere Clouds, my first 3-day festival and 30-minute performance. So yeah, very interesting indeed.
It sounds like April was a very busy month for you, and also that you were more like a pioneer in a lot of the events that you were a part of. Not to put favorites on it, but what was the best experience that you had out of the 2 or 3 festivals? Did I hear you say?
Um, kind of like everything had its little special moments, you know, like Hash Bash. It was really my first time performing at Hash Bash, and they had some like real superstars go on there. Like somebody from Rock Nation came out there and performed like two artists before me, so that was cool. The fashion show, we sold out. You know, that's my first time performing at a fashion show. So that was really interesting because a lot of my music had to end up being played because we were only playing music that we owned rights to. So really interesting atmosphere of my music and seeing how people respond to different types of my music from all over the years. Um, the Third Eye Gathering was extremely cool as a connoisseur because that was like, you know, the people who made the cherry pie cookie strain, Gage Green Group, they really had the best flour I have ever had, and it was 3 hours of the best flour in different form. It was amazing. It was amazing. It was top notch. I loved it. Then it was 420, my first time throwing a festival, and that went pretty good. So now I know how to throw festivals. And then the last show was the one that I actually got the most recognition from as an artist.
Where the last show with the festival that you just finished like last weekend, right?
Yeah, because a lot of times I get put underneath the umbrella of Top Shelf or Die in a way that can be like limiting for me with how people do me. You know what I mean?
So what
Like
creates limitations? Like what takes off your limitations, I suppose. Like
uh me should believing in fate. You know, that's what my business is really named for. Like my new LLC, Believe in Fate, which I'm about to start doing more events with and really just kind of step out into the light with to be seen as my own company. Really, it's the only thing that's been, you know, kind of holding me back. Just, you know, being up underneath other people. Like, I see it as me being underneath an entertainment company, but at a certain point, I'm not under Top Shelf or Die as just a musician. Like, I wear a lot of hats underneath that company. But that festival was the first time it was just a Mike Fate, you know.
right.
That was very careful. That was very what's the word? Validating, you know? Very validating.
Um, if you don't mind sharing, do you have any advice for upcoming artists that are just starting since you've been in this for more than 10 years now?
Mm, network. You never know who knows who. You never know where a conversation can take you for real. So network. Talk to people, get to know people, you know, feel people out, find out if you want to work with people, if you can work with people, or if you know, if it's just a pipe dream, find out if you're even a musician. You know, everybody wants to be something, but it's like sometimes people will ignore their natural instincts to try and be what they think is loved in society or what's cool type shit. Like, I'm not a musician because I want to be cool. I'm not a musician for any other reason than I'm a musician. Like, I found out. I didn't as much decide as a lot of people. I just kind of found out one day I was a musician and said, you know, that feels right. So I'm going with.
How did you find out?
I literally just found out. I used to do music with Square Crew, you know, when I first started my first group that really got me into music, and then like I did my first song Milk Duds and Ass Cheeks with my boys, and the amount of like the amount of feedback I got from it was so enlightening to me, being like, oh wow, I'm obviously an artist.
How long? So Square Crew was the beginning, and then Mike, the Believe in Fate LLC. Like, how did you get involved with making your own LLC?
Just last year, you know, I was in a position of realizing how much I was doing. Like, I've been doing so many damn events for so long that I haven't stopped to really realize how many events. are actually me. Like the natural organics and the natural medicines and organics conference was like, yeah, that's a TSOD thing, but like that was my baby. Like I came up with that type shit because I care about psychedelics and I always have been. Like I'm very big on psychedelic medicines and knowing having the actual research behind them to do them safely. So just doing all these events just kind of more and more made me realize, like, okay, at the end of these events, I didn't feel appreciated enough, and that's because I ended up putting other people on the forefront of all the effort that I'm putting forward.
So, with psychedelic medication, what brought you that journey, or what started that
Um,
journey?
well, to be honest, oh, well, I'm sorry, I gotta grab me a snack. I'm just waking up.
Good morning.
Good morning. So, to be honest, first, I was gonna do DMT, like, so, um, like how I got into music is a little weird, actually. Like when I was after I made my first song, "Smoke Dust and Ass Cheeks," and before I actually got sent down to Atlanta to go perform, I was up at night one night and I was searching, just scouring the internet for anywhere I could send my music for like any type of opportunity. I ended up seeing a post on Craigslist that was posted at like 11:11, and the post just stood out to me like almost like the numbers like glow on the screen type shit is how it felt. And it was like my first real run in with like deep intuition, and it just made me realize like, okay, this is an opportunity that I need to click on. So following my intuition got me to understanding that I am a musician in the first place. So after that happened, I got really spiritual with it, and that made me way more curious as to like what I've been missing out on, like what's going on for real. Like there's signs and shit, nigga. Like wow, that's interesting.
Yes.
So,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
oh no, you're good. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to
N-
ramble on.
This is actually about you. So ramble away. I was just
Okay.
gonna say with something that I remember, like a core memory about our friendship, is your intensive research abilities, like how you do love information and you pretty much sought and found a lot of the information, and there's rights and wrongs, but you're very detailed with what you know, like in a historical fact, but you also do a lot of research in multiple different facets. So it's interesting hearing about like how you were researching online and how you're deep into this was your first instinct with deep intuition as well. So please continue. Tell us about the Craigslist interaction.
Okay. So yeah, after realizing that my intuition was kind of driving my career and towards what I actually wanted to do, I ended up doing more research into spirituality, looking into that was my first run in it with numerology. So, I had to go get that. So I started researching numerology. I started researching what's it called? Horoscopes, natal charts. So that in that time, I took a lot of time to just learn about myself, like spiritually, find out like what my signs mean, what signs I have, and all my placements, all that stuff. I took a lot of time to figure that shit out because I figured, know yourself, and everything else should come naturally. So I focused on the spiritual aspects of knowing myself, which led me to find out about DMT. So when I found out about DMT, I'm like, oh, this is really cool. This seems like something that I really want to try, so I can gain that new perspective that I want so bad. I ended up searching for DMT for like I want to say 3 4 years,
Mm-hmm.
just kind of like researching it, talking to people about it, and just trying to genuinely like find out where it would come into existence in Detroit.
Right.
Um, that was when I ended up meeting up with Manny, Emmanuel.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Point, my boy.
Haha.
And one time I was hanging out in Midtown with him and some other friends, and we went to go get some. He went to get some mushrooms. I'm like, well, I don't know anything about mushrooms at all at this point. I've only researched DMT. So he's like, do a little bit of research on it. You can decide if you want to take something with us. I watched some videos and I realized, like, okay, DMT is like drinking moonshine straight. And maybe I should try a little bit of vodka beforehand so I don't
Right.
fuck myself up,
Yeah.
you know? So, the first time I did shrooms, I'm in Midtown with Manny and a couple of his friends, and I popped the shrooms in my mouth while we're walking around from the dealer's house back to Manny's loft and shit. I get in front of the loft and like I feel the weight of the shrooms for the first time, and it's whooping my ass so bad. Like we're in front of Manny's house, and I'm telling him like, "Yo, I'm about to lay down on the ground out here and just be like, I don't even think I can make it inside, bro. I ain't never been this tired in my life. Y'all want me inside? Carry me inside, because these legs not doing it." And that's when Manny hit me with something that kind of like changed my perspective on a lot of life and drugs. And he said, "Remember, Mike, it's always mind over matter. Never let your mind tell you what you can't do, because nothing exists without you." I said, "Yeah, he's on to something." So that ended up having me get back up and walk and everything, and we went on a little adventure. And I went through something called I believe it was a monolith or a megalith. It was an artist structure create. It was a story told by artist structures,
Okay.
and I've never seen this again. The only time I've seen this thing, like this story that was made of giant art sculptures that I could walk through, that told me the story of who I am. I've only seen that place one time on mushrooms, and I can't even prove that it existed, which really makes it a lot more fantastical.
So, where are you now with your journey on mushrooms and psychedelics? Are there some that you stay away from? Are there some like, and because you said you want them to be used in a research proper manner, what's your opinion on how people are using them? Like, I mean, you can't stop people from doing what they're doing, but
Yeah, you know that.
in an ideal world, because personally, I definitely feel in more sacred medicine. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I
Same.
feel like LSD is more of a party rave drug. Like, it's fun, it keeps you up, it's man made, but it can have its purposes, like in a medicative form. However, I definitely feel like mushrooms are more sacred, and you don't have to like go to church on them, but you should go into them like with open mind.
With respect and reverence.
Yes, definitely. That's exactly what I was trying to say. And then I personally have never tried DMT, Molly, MDMA, none of the others. I feel like I am interested and am going to continue to grow mushrooms and psilocybin because
Hmm.
it is on this next wave, similar to how marijuana was or cannabis was as well. Like everybody was really
Honestly, I
scared.
don't like that though,
Why not? Tell me.
because I feel like the atmosphere around cannabis has changed too much to be um about the consumer, like, or not about the consumer but about the seller. Like everything is about vendors and doing stuff so that vendors can sell weed, and it's like it's coming to a place of where it doesn't even feel like there's love in a lot of places when I go shop. So why I don't even shop with most people, because it's like the caregivers out here aren't getting the love that they deserve, even though they're making the good stuff. There's so many shitty people in the industry, and so many shitty people outside of the industry that are trying to take advantage of those in the industry. Like
I
cannabis has
actually really
become
agree.
such a money hungry thing, and I mean, yeah, it's worth a lot of money, but it's because it's a medicine. It should be worth a lot of money. That doesn't mean that we need to treat it like goddamn Snickers and fucking candy bars and all this extra dumb shit. But that's how I feel about it. People like creativity, people like innovation, People like different forms and all that extra shit. But I think there needs to be a separation. What is extravagant marijuana and what is medicinal cannabis? You know what I mean?
Yes, because honestly, I've had 17% and I've had 36%. And the 17% definitely had better pull, better smell, better flavor, better
Hmm.
breakdown
Well, the
than
reason for that is because they've been trying to brainwash us to believe that the THC percentage actually matters, when the truth is that it doesn't. It never has, and it never will, because weed gets you high off of something called the entourage effect, and if you don't understand that, then you not getting high for real.
hmm
And that's just real. Like, just because your shit say 36% THC, it don't mean that they got the other numbers that they needed to get you the height that you want. Like you said, I've had me some shit that ain't even 20% that done kicked my ass, and I had me some shit over 30% where I'm just like, okay.
okay. Like, this is actually, like, I hate lately because since I moved, my intake has been a lot different.
Hmm.
Specifically, like, my frequency, who I do it around, where I do it at. Like, I remember when I first started smoking, like, I was literally smoking in the garage, in my backyard. I was smoking the cold, in the hot. And since then, I've had a car, I've lived in a house. So I'm very particular about where I do it. Like, the wind is not just about to smoke my weed.
Hell no, that shit
Also,
dead. I'm not 17 no more.
I'm not 17 anymore. And then with me being like a singer, I know that using your voice is not only a skill, but you're an athlete. Once you start singing more, you need your throat. Like, if I'm gonna sing 16 songs in a row over an hour and a half, like, you've been to concerts, you've seen artists take drinks of water in between. Personally, for me, like, I can hear the difference in my quality of voice since I've reduced my smoking and my
Mm-hmm.
lung capacity and everything, my breathing. I've looked up like which artists smoke, but for me right now, I'm still trying to find a happy medium. So getting back to that, just like what it's being smoked out of, like, for me personally, like, I used to smoke out of bowls and
Mm-hmm.
papers. And then out of necessity, I started smoking out of wraps, like game leaves, white owl swishers specifically. And
Mm-hmm.
then getting to college, that entourage effect of smoking out of a backwood. But now I'm like, I feel the tobacco more than I feel the marijuana. And if it's not hitting and tasting well in the first place, like, I'm not gonna want to smoke it like that.
For
So
real.
yeah. But I still, what I found out recently is that my choice of smoke still is like a white wood, like a filter tip,
Hell
a little
yeah.
a little bit of grabba, a paper. But that, I think it's just because my body's like, oh, I know how to tolerate this. I know what this is. And
You know?
papers are like, this tastes like air, which is fine, but like, unless it's some real strong, hard hitting, which I've had before. Like, I got a couple papers laying around this house right now because of the quality of the weed that was inside of it. So
I feel that.
yeah, I do want to get back to something, the cleanest smoke ever, because edibles make me go to sleep like every time. Like, I'm like, all right, I'm hungry, I'm sleepy, good night, which is fine. But I don't know. That's where I am on my journey with smoke. I'm still discovering it. Like, it's almost like we broke up and now we getting reintroduced to each other. So
You know, it's gonna be around your whole life.
it is. And my parents are hella stoners and they know it. And my both of them, well, my mom definitely did not smoke through our whole childhood. And then she picked it back up for health reasons. My dad has always told me he smoked for his glaucoma, like on some real, because on our side of the family, blindness runs.
Eesh.
So exactly. So I know that it does have its properties, but currently I'm just trying not to use it as a coping mechanism. Like, oh my god, I need to smoke because, like, no, I think I feel like smoking right now. I feel
I mean,
comfortable.
I feel that, and that's healthy, but also remember, like, everybody self medicates. There's nothing wrong with self medicating, and it's medicine for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
Like for me, sometimes I do have to smoke just to get through a day that's a little harder because I don't want to fight nobody.
Right.
I don't think it's nothing wrong because it's not like I'm not so enamored with weed that it's the only thing I think about. I just see it as a career and as something that can help people. So it's like I don't have a problem smoking. It helps me get my mind straight, helps me stay inspired, and helps calm me down. I like weed, man. I
Yeah.
like weed, man. It's
I like
nice,
weed,
nice thing.
man.
I like weed, man.
I definitely realized that like my thoughts rush at a different like I'm not going to say the word anxiety because that's a diagnosis of something. But it creates like a different pace of my thoughts, my heart rate. Like I'm so in tune with my body, and I've been practicing a lot of mindfulness lately that when I do smoke, I gotta have a notebook nearby because there's too much going on in my brain and I need to write it down. Like something needs to get put on paper so I don't forget it. And
I
then
feel it.
when I am, then I'm like, oh my God, I'm more prone to leaving things behind. So I just have to be more aware of it. I'm like not as good of a lit. I miss out on the details, is what I find out. So that's why I'm like, I gotta be comfortable to do it. I have to be in a
True.
space where everything is in order. I can see it. I know where I'm going after this. I know what's happening after this. Like, I know I'm not gonna be in a dangerous spot, but I don't know. I've walked through the city of New York like on shroom tea before, so
How did that go?
it went really well. But I saw a Broadway play. Like I was sitting down in a play for a long period of time. It really is like the person. Like so, I'm still not about to pop a script here. Like I'm not afraid of it, but I'm like, I want to
Yeah,
do
I
that
ain't
in
gonna
the
lie.
best.
No, I just don't need to be that open to everything going on and goddamn. Nah, nah, I'm smooth.
I'm smooth.
Acid is different, honestly. I'd be being very careful with acid because I recognize how different it is.
What scales are different in this? Because I like what you said when you said I can't be that open with something. Like I can't be just that receptive to everything. 'Cause it makes
Mm-hmm.
me. It brings this new sense of vulnerability that I wasn't really asking for, but the energy of it. Like I realized how good of a cleaner I am and how much energy I have. But that 2 days after, that week, that 2 weeks after, a purge method is something different.
Mm.
What do you feel like is the biggest difference between LSD and psilocybin?
So the best way I can describe the difference between them, I was once described it as acid is like having a spaceship through the universe. Freehand that ball. And shrooms is like having being strapped into a rocket ship with GPS on and fired around the universe to very specific locations. Now,
Mm-hmm.
for me personally, I more feel like both of these make you more spiritually aware, but one of them makes you more spiritually aware to what's inside of you, while the other one makes you more spiritually aware to what's outside of you.
Hmm.
You know what I mean? That's how I've always seen it. Like whenever I've done acid, it's like for me personally, like I've always seen for me shrooms was the more visually appealing psychedelic, whereas I've always heard from other people that acid has always been more visually appealing for them. But for me, it's like I mean, acid can be cool, but with the fact that it lasts for 10 to 12 hours, it's already pushing into a time limit of like, oh shit, this is like half of my actual day.
And if
And
you
not
smoke with it,
everybody
it
is
becomes
good at holding a good mood for 12 hours, which can make bad trips for acid seem a lot less avoidable.
mm-hmm.
Not even like always a full bad trip. It could just be a couple minutes of a bad trip. But the actual point of it is, it's like, you know, you can fall into a bad trip. It's a lot more. It's a lot more there. But on shrooms, it's like if you get a bad trip, that's usually the universe telling you that you're being a bad person. In my experience,
Like, what's a bad person look like? Well, to you. And what do you
to
mean by
me, it's
bad
somebody
person?
who doesn't practice their empathy, doesn't appreciate the things that they're given, takes advantage of those that are they're put around to help.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't believe in like ultimate evil, but I do believe that going after only your intentions when there are people who need help is not a good thing to do.
Yeah, I agree with that. I definitely agree with intention being everything. But like,
Mm.
what if my intentions are good and it still comes out bad?
Well,
Then,
no good deed goes unpunished. When you have good intentions and something goes bad, it can be a much more beautiful learning lesson of something that had to go wrong for you to understand the lessons that you have to understand. But you can only get that when you're coming at it from the right place.
mm-hmm.
So to get that lesson, you gotta be able to come from that right intention so that you have the right perspective when things do go wrong, and you're not thinking, well, it's because I did this. Because it's like, yeah, it is because you did that, but that's because you shouldn't have been moving that way in the first place. As opposed to, okay, my event didn't go right because I learned that this style of promotion isn't working for me as much as this style is, type shit.
Hmm.
You get what I mean? I'm sure you
No,
do.
I really do. And I guess my question is, do you believe that? Where do you think the essence of punishment comes from? Do you believe in punishment? Like, I know we both don't have children, but would you hit your kids? How would you reprimand bad behavior that you don't
Mm,
see as like good?
I
And
honestly think
also,
you can't just decide how that kind of stuff works, unfortunately, because it's like a very by person kind of thing for me. Or not by person, but by everything has to be separated and done by circumstance. I don't believe in blanketing statements, especially when it
hmm,
comes to rights and wrongs. Like something could be right in one situation that's wrong in another situation because of nuances.
hmm, like nuances.
Nothing's absolute. Like there's there are situations in which killing somebody is the right and moral correct thing to do.
Yeah,
Whether it's to save their life or save someone else's life, or you never really know. Like situations can be crazy.
yeah. I feel like the deed of murder is always overlooked in different aspects because if you look at it next to the animal kingdom, it's natural. But if you look at it human to
See, that's not really
okay,
because we're not. I mean, yes, we come from animals, but to compare ourselves that much to animals, I think is really unappreciative of us. Like
why though?
God
Like
set us
dogs have.
apart.
I
We're
mean,
set apart so that we can be aware of our innate differences with things and have that level of growth spiritually and do things that animals can't do. It's like for a reason.
what can't they do? Is my question.
um Build a society.
Ants, bees, muskrat. I mean, not muskrats, but meerkats.
I mean, yeah, those are small relationships. This is a global economy that's stretching to the stars.
And I
Difference is
understand why people.
our society has the potential to help other societies on the planet. An ant society is an ant society. It's happening autonomous. It's not really. thought of in like the bigger pictures of like ants aren't sitting over there thinking, we're going to go from these tunnels to space one day, y'all. It's not their plan. They ants.
But my question is like, I get why we are seeking outward, but the way we treat, in my humble opinion, the way we're treating our planet, our actual real ecosystem, we shouldn't really be trying to leave this place. Like, we should be taking, like, it's kind of like the philosophy of you can't go sleep over somebody else's house because your room isn't clean. Like, why are you trying to leave your space to go to someone else's space instead of like
Maybe there's not enough
taking.
room here.
Mm, I actually think it's enough room here. We we just need to spread out differently. Like,
What is
cause
differently? There's going to always be an overpopulation. If I'm being honest with you, COVID was going to come in one way, shape, or form because the planet will always do what it can to keep us from overpopulating.
hmm,
There will always be some type of natural disaster. Like there's always been natural disasters in history. It's not new. It's all about where you research. Like in all my spiritual research of the universe, I ended up finding a lot of places where it was like, okay, obviously we were reset. It was too many of us. Population control type shit. Whether it's the Noah's Ark floods or global warming happening in the past or ice age or meteors or it's always something.
so you want to go to another planet so that the planet, because I feel like the planet is more aware
Mm-mm.
than we give it credit for. Like,
Well, me
it's
personally,
alive.
I'm just an exploring soul. I want to go out and explore because I can. Like I don't. There's only so much underneath the sun, but there's also only so much underneath our sun. We don't know what the fuck is up underneath someone else's sun.
I just don't feel like it feels sometimes like the human race is doing this thing where it's like the new toy at Christmas. Like, you're all so interested in it for 10 minutes and then you're on to the next thing. But some people can be okay with what they have right here and now. Like,
That's cool, but you gotta remember the human race is a variety. If y'all cool with where y'all are, that's cool. Y'all can be here, but there are gonna always be people who want more. I'm one of those people. I want more. What drives me. I want to know more about myself. I want to know more about the universe. I want to know more about where I am and why I'm here. I want to know all of that shit. Shit, I can make music in space just like I can make music underwater. It ain't shit.
hmm.
First one of the day.
I guess disclaimer, but not even disclaimer. When I question people, it's because I'm seeking more from their opinion. Like, I have a set opinion. I like recycling. I like growing plants. I love the human race and its people. They are very interesting because I've always, like, when people ask me where I'm from, I say outer space. Because if you think about it, we're all from outer space. We're sitting here on a rock, floating between time
So
and
technically, we
distance.
are still
And
are out of space then.
I don't know. Like, I feel like we don't know enough about where we live to go discover other things. But I understand why it's important to have a diverse palette, like,
You
and
know,
have.
if we only have people looking at the Earth, then that's all we got. We got to look in all directions.
We've always looked up, coincidentally enough. So,
Yeah, so that's why it's like we got to look up, we got to look down, and more importantly, we got to look inside.
hmm. And do you feel like the outside will answer questions on the inside? Because you told me one time that what you do to answer questions that you have is keep questioning the question until there are no more questions inside, because you
True, but
know the
there's
answer.
never going to be an end to that. You just got to find peace with the fact that you'll never know everything and just accept your answers as they come, because not every question will be answered. And, sometimes there's questions that are answered that you didn't even know you wanted to ask, type shit.
So, what are some questions that you have about your environment and the outer environment?
Mm, well, I always find myself coming back to asking, why me? You know,
Why you what?
like, why am I me? Like, why am I in the positions that I'm in? Why am I living the life that I live? Why me?
And then I question like, why not? Isn't this what you? Isn't this what you wanted?
I mean, for me, it seems like life has seemed more like a path than anything else after a certain point. And I'm just walking down my path.
Mm. I feel more like I have a shovel and I'm digging my own path. Like I'm creating the path, but you if you look around, if you step a certain couple places and you test the waters in different directions, you'll discover like that's a cliff. Don't want to walk off that. Oh, that's a river. Don't want to get swept away by that. So knowing your environment and knowing the areas you're in and where you want to go, because it could be a path, but I feel like it's sometimes like an interstate or a freeway. Like there are many paths in different directions, and the only way you could go is forward. Like you can't go back once you start walking. Like
That's
you could
true.
stop.
I guess I've just recently found out that I'm an INFJ.
Mhm.
So like my I think they said what's called extroverted intuition and
Mhm.
shit like that. So the way that I see life is a lot different than how a lot of people see life, because I'm a like my type is like, believe I last research I checked said that I'm less than, like, I'm like 1% of human beings are my type of personality build.
Yeah.
So that makes me an extremely rare, unfortunate type. So I don't really compare with a lot of people, but my intuition is a lot. Um, it's a lot different than a lot of people's. Like mine is a lot more hands on with me, if that makes any sense. Like it's not so much guessing and seeing random signs. Like for me, signs come to me like they do to people on movies,
Hmm.
where it'll be a big, like my signs are big, my signs are obvious, my signs aren't things that I can ignore.
Hmm.
I've only recently found out that I'm an INFJ, and that's even like a thing.
Yeah. I know someone else that is, but you would be like, huh? You'd be like, what? No.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out exactly what it is. Like how am I it? Who am I?
Who is I? But I think you could discover who you are by knowing who you want to be.
Well, see, I've tried that method, and apparently that's not the method I'm supposed to take. It makes me have unrealistic beliefs, because I can be pretty in the dream realm sometimes, of just believing that certain things are going to happen, or just stupid high expectations can be one of my weaknesses.
Hmm. So I have this new saying that I've been using for the last couple of years. I have
Hmm.
high standards and low expectations. But if you have certain standards that you can have high expectations of yourself, but just knowing that like
People suck at things. Yeah, I know.
it's not that we suck at things. It goes back to that
No, no, no. It is
consistency.
that people got to be humble. I suck at things. I'll say it.
I mean, we not might be the best at something, but in my humble opinion, like we're all good at something, even if it's sucking at things. So
Ooh,
if we're
that can't be what you're good at. You got to be good at something, but you also got to suck at other things. But that's why you're good at other things. So you can't be good at everything. To be good at something, you got to suck at something else. I ain't even gonna cap to you.
mm, I'm trying to figure out what I'm trying to say. Like it's okay not to be the best, but I think you could. Okay, so sucking at multiple things means you're really good at trying because you keep trying. Like you're not just be like, wow, I suck at that. Never gonna try that again. But you're like, maybe I should try it this
Sometimes
way.
I definitely would just say, "Oh, I suck at that. I'm leaving it alone." Like I don't feel like it's for me personally ever too hard to know when something's for me and when something's not.
Hmm. I think that goes to my question of what do you feel like you suck at,
Um,
and if you suck at it, are you trying to get better at it, or are you okay with sucking at it?
I suck at personal boundaries. Like I'm very giving. I have a hard time separating what I should do from what I want to do, and I end up always giving away too much of myself in situations and feeling like I'm unappreciated because I've done too much and haven't gotten the feedback that I want to. So that can
Yeah.
be that's something I suck at. I'm trying to get better at that. I mean, most of the things that I suck at are just kind of like human interactions, kind of knowing or knowing what I want and putting myself first has always been just hard for me.
Mm. But you're a networker. Like your job is to network. So how do you feel like you suck at talking to individuals?
I mean, because it's easier for me to talk to people about certain things, but it's like not the shit that I care about always.
So what do you find yourself caring most about?
The universe, um, philosophies. Um, I'm big. I'm really big on philosophies, especially the Eastern types of thinking. I like to see. I don't know. I'm interested in like people's real deep thoughts, people's trips, people's rubs with the unknown and shit like that. Like I don't like to just know shit that everybody knows. I like to know shit that is like if I'm talking to somebody, I want our conversation to I wanted to transcend a regular conversation. I wanted to go deeper. Like I always feel like people are just talking about nothing.
Mm. But to to piggyback that, like if I feel like the only time you could talk about nothing, like some things may be superficial, but like if you talk about nothing, that means there's silence. Like
Mm-mm. That's not the only way I talk about nothing.
how else? Let me know.
We talk about shit that doesn't have anything to do with me, you, or anything in our lives or anything that we can affect in our lives. Then so ain't no point in me talking about that.
But that's what philosophy is half the time.
Now,
Like,
philosophy for me is more about like the morals and the understandings of the world and the way that it flows. What I'm talking about is like, oh, you watch reality TV shows and this person got breast work and you want to talk about how their breast work isn't flattering for them. I don't give a fuck about that. I don't. We
or
don't
they're
know
trying to be
them.
cosmetic surgeons, like, and they don't even know it. What I've been finding is taking the nothingness out of like what they're talking about and trying to figure out why they're talking about it. I'm a very like scientific person, and I'm just trying to figure out their why. Like,
I did until I found out a lot of people's why is because that's what they think is important. Not because they want to do anything within the future, but some people don't realize how important attention is. Like some people are simply distracted, and I don't like to be distracted.
hmm.
Like I hate it so much. I really do not. I don't watch no reality TV shows. If I don't feel like there's something I can learn from it, a lesson I can get from it, I'm not paying attention to it. If it doesn't help me grow spiritually or musically or any way, I'm not about to talk about it. There's no point.
Like, what is this doing for me?
Yeah, what is this conversation doing for us? Are we just having a conversation to have a conversation, or are we like investing energy into each other and our ideas so that we can actually grow? Because if it's not the second thing, whatever, I don't want to talk to you.
I personally would not be on a reality television show. I've heard, and that okay, so that I just kind of caught myself in something
Hmm.
that I feel like I suck at. It's not. It's asking opinion and then making decision off opinion. But at the same time, I'm a very explorative person. So I
Hmm.
might be like, ooh, like for example, I was shoe shopping yesterday. I
Hmm.
had two different shoes that I knew I liked, but
Hmm.
I asked the opinion of someone else about them. And
Hmm.
then that opinion stemmed to getting more information about the product. Like, well, actually, people say those shoes are actually very hard to walk in and hurt your feet after a while. But I already had two things that I liked, so I went with the thing that I've heard more about, have seen better results with. Like I got some Hirachis yesterday for the first time
Oh,
because
Hirachis are nice.
yeah, and they're dance shoes. I've been looking at these shoes for a long time. They were something that I wanted for a while, but I had a Puma and I had a Hirachi. And I knew, like, I'm like, this Hirachi feels different on my ankle. Like, it's got a little bit more support. But these Pumas are cute. Like, they have nice base, like, bottom support. So the Hirachis were the only ones that were in my size in the state. They do not have them online anymore. So I'm like, okay, based on all the information I've gathered. But like, why didn't I make that decision by myself? You know. So I feel like that's kind of where I
Well,
suck
I
at.
don't think there's anything wrong with that in that regard, simply because you're asking questions to gain information, which is good. It's not like you were just like, which one do you think I should wear? And they're just like, well, I like the color pink, so you should get the pink one. Like, bitch, stop talking to me.
Get out of here.
It's like with the questions, it's about how you're gathering information. Like, that's one thing I'm really, really, really big on. It's just gathering information.
I'm just gathering information.
Yeah, I have a whole, me and Donovan have a library that we've had for over 5 years of just books that go from everything from like psychology to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth to like the first Bible in its original language to you
Is
know
it Ethiopian? Sorry.
um no, I want to say it's what's the name of that shit? It starts with like an S. It's a really famous people. I just can't remember the first civilization. The Mesopotamians.
Mesopotamia.
Yeah, I want to say it was either the Mesopotamians or the. It's so wild that I cannot think of this word that is like on the tip of my tongue.
Do 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 do
The
do do
Sumer.
do 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 do. Are you googling it? Do do do
Hmm.
do do do
I ain't
do.
gonna lie to you because it's the Sumerian language. That's what I was looking for. Yeah, it's written in
Sumerian,
Sumer.
Sumeric.
Yeah, and southern of southern Mesopotamia. It's not easy to read it all, obviously.
Oh, this leads me into a new question. Are you
Hmm.
the languages? Because as something based on my experience being out here, Spanish and French. Gotta know. Gotta know.
Yeah, I know. I was thinking about learning Spanish.
Gotta know.
I already started learning French, but it kind of just didn't. My soul didn't really want to learn it, so I didn't make it. Type shit. And I've
Love to,
had ample opportunity to learn French, but I guess it just doesn't interest me for real.
but when it comes to like melanated people, melanated people know Spanish or they know French. Like a lot of African people know French.
I
Like,
think instead I'll learn an instrument. That'd be
okay,
my second language.
well, I personally would like to learn the older languages like Arabic and Sanskrit, but of course Spanish and French.
But also Spanish. I mean, I feel you got to do. You can't just be going and learn the old ones. That'd be down low key. No point in having a language that nobody uses no more,
Right. But
unless you're trying to
like
use
this,
some magic spells, nigga.
you already heard what's that show called? Midnight Gospel, about how the Bible is full of magic spells. What you put out in the world is a spell.
Hmm.
You just gotta know how to spell.
That's true. I think that's part of the reason I'm a musician.
You you know how to sight read? That's my new task.
Do I know how to what?
Sight read music.
Yeah, but it's like not a talent that is ever necessary.
What? It
Like,
is theater. It is what I'm. Oh,
yeah, I was gonna say it would be more for yours, but like I most of what I do is really just intuitive. Like a lot a lot of my shit is intuitive as fuck. Like I don't always like for me the way that I'll make a song, right? I'll play a beat and that beat will speak to me or it won't. It's that simple.
what does it say? What does it say?
It depends on the beat, honestly.
Oh,
Like it- I get real inspiration from hearing beats, so where it's like I don't always write my songs. Sometimes I'll just channel them. I can tell like I'll just be listening to something, and I'll get like this burst of energy to just start writing down whatever's coming to my mind, and I just do it. It's how I made natural, and home were like my first times learning how to like really channel that energy.
hmm.
Yeah, that's why those songs hit so different. My old song "Miss Me," this first song I made a music video for. That one was something special like that too, and it was also one of the first songs that I performed on acid. So it's like when I perform that song or when I do stuff with that song, it's just attached to a different layer of thinking. So it's pretty cool.
um, do you have any? What's it called? Do you have any projects coming out soon? I know all your music is on Bandcamp.
New projects. You know, this is like the third time someone's asked me that question, which is funny because it's like I do have an entire like album ready to drop of songs, but it's like it's not ready to drop. It's just like all the demos have been made. There's a whole it's all the new songs and some of the older songs from Bloom that didn't make it on a part one. So it's like rock songs and poppy songs and it's like crazy shit.
So
My
when you
diversity really hasn't been shown in my music enough for me.
hmm. So what are we gonna do about that?
Uh, shit, just keep writing, keep working.
You know what I'm saying? When are you gonna display your versatility? Like, oh, that goes into my more not basic interview questions, but my written down interview questions. Who are your biggest inspirations musically?
I think that kind of goes more into like my fans though. Like, like you said, all my music is on Bandcamp. That's 10 years of music, and if you really, really listen, you'll hear my genre change a couple times.
So, who have your biggest influence been thus far?
Kanye West, Kid Cudi, Frank Ocean, Andre 3000,
Andre,
Terrence McKenna.
who is that? I can't spell it.
Who?
Terrence McKenna?
Oh, Terrence McKenna.
Terrence McKenna. Okay.
Yeah, he's a big mushroom advocate, one of the big philosophers who's helped guide my thoughts. Alan Watts, and really a lot of like Buddha teachings have kind of guided my music and guided me.
Oh,
I don't really write music off psychedelics. I more listen to my music on psychedelics so I can see how I really feel, because like my music is a lot more on the nose. Like I was watching the Kanye documentary and it was hitting me like, yo, I'm a lot like Kanye.
dun dun dun. In what ways?
Like just in how I write and in what I write. Like I really write some real life shit and it be hitting like how Kanye shit be hitting, but it's really some real life shit. Like I'm not writing about somebody else's life. I'm not writing about what I wish I was dealing with. I write about what I deal with my actual perspective, and people listen to it. They're like, this is so real. And luckily, I just see the world as a brighter place
Than he does.
than anyone, than anyone else I've ever met.
But you want to leave this planet.
It's not that it's not the planet that's the problem. It's the energy here. It's the people. It's the situation.
So would you just spend some time trying to shift the energy then?
Well, I'm spending my entire life trying to change the energy. That's what I'm here to do.
Hey, in what direction?
A more positive one, a more people friendly direction. Like I always have wanted to be like in the same way of Kanye. I've always had this mentality of I'm going to do it. There's no way I'm going to fail. And when I do it, and everyone asks me what makes me special and how I did it, I want to say nothing. Nothing makes me special. I did it by doing it.
Nice. That actually
I've
makes
always. I'm sorry, huh?
like that makes a lot of sense. So
Yeah, because people always treat black people in the music industry like, oh, we can't get great unless we sell our souls, unless we do this and that. And it's like, okay, well, I'm going to do it right in front of all of y'all. And when that happens, are y'all going to say that I'm Illuminati? Because I for sure have struggled for the last 10 years to get here.
right. Do
You
you
know, so it's like, am I Illuminati because I struggled and worked my ass off to get to this position? Like, seeing that shows me, like, people saying that someone is Illuminati is really just them distancing themselves from that goal.
hmm,
Like, oh, they couldn't get that without some type of supernatural help that made them lose their morals, and that's why I'm not there. No, you're not there because you didn't want it, you didn't work for that, and that's not who you are. You're not there because they are there.
hmm. I guess do you with talent versus hard work? Is there a difference?
Um, well, no, because you really can't. It's never just one. You know, like if you want to be happy in life, you don't just go for something that you're talented at. You go for something that you're talented at that you would work hard at.
Yes. I feel like
So
that's
like you can't separate them in my eyes. Like if you're talented with something, it just means that it's easier to work hard on that thing.
ooh. You're right, because you have a passion for it.
Yeah, and I try not to touch shit I don't have a passion for. I really listen to my intuition on that. Like if I don't feel like I really should be there or I should really be doing that, I'm not gonna do it. Doesn't matter if it helps people at all. I like to help people, but my intuition comes first.
So, where your Maslow's hierarchy and needs?
Um, I think I'm still figuring that out. You know, it's been changing a lot. Just recently find out that I have to move, so security is really up in the air for me right now. But I seem to still be happy. So
Hmm. But they say don't get too comfortable. Stay on your toes.
you're
Like,
right. Future says it himself, "Bitch, don't get too comfortable."
did you listen to his new album?
Fuck no, I don't listen to Future.
Okay.
That's an ironic quote to make after quoting one of his songs, right?
Yes.
See, I feel like this. Like I like Future as a musician, but I don't deal with him as a person, so it makes it a lot harder to deal with his music.
Understood.
You know, like I'm not a toxic person. I understand toxicity when I see it. I love Future to death, but like I wouldn't want him around people I care about.
Okay.
That's a bad sign.
Like, mm, mm, hmm. It's like, no, Future, you can't be my mommy. What?
Nah, fuck no, Future. You can't be my mother. I don't care how close of friends we are. You can't be my mother, Future.
I don't know. Wild stuff earlier. I might let my mommy meet Future, and they be like, and that's the type of people we stay away from, mommy.
Nah, Future too smooth. I ain't even giving him that opener.
Ah, you just. I think your mama would be like, get out of here, boy. It's like, please.
Yeah, she'd be telling me to get out of here so she can talk to Future.
No, mommy, why? Mommy, why?
It's all right. I'm gonna be a celebrity one day, and I'm gonna be talking to people's mamas.
Yo, my favorite TikToker. No, I know you don't like TikTok, but I do because it gives me short little outbursts of comedy specifically. Like I'm still trying to rebrand myself on TikTok specifically. Oh my God, I left my spoon. Oh no, I'm sorry.
Not the spoon.
My mama gave me this wooden set of like bamboo utensils so I could recycle. I wonder if he kept my spoon. He'd be sad. He didn't.
That's freaking cool.
No, right? But I left like yesterday. I was eating at Frank's house and I left my food there and my spoon on top of it. But like, did you the spoon? I'll have to text them later. Like, excuse me, do you have a brown wooden spoon? They be like, no. I'd be like, damn it, I need it completes a set. Oh, what video games are you playing right now?
You said what video games am I playing?
Yes, I did.
Well, I'm glad you asked because your boy just became an Elden Lord.
Wow, you finished it?
Yeah, I put in about 150 hours in that bitch.
Nice. Congrats.
Uh, thank you, thank you. Yeah, it was not an easy journey. Um, I would do it again. It was actually really fun. It was actually a lot of fun. What was crazy is like, so over the past like couple weeks, I had been kind of going through a mental breakdown, called kind of like, so when I've been researching my sign, or not my sign, but like my personality type, they said that in my growth, like in my phases between my third and fourth phase of growth, I'll hit what's kind of like a quarter life crisis for me. And that's kind of where I was in the last 2 weeks of like not knowing what direction I want to move in, not knowing how to stand on my own, and you know, just a lot of darkness surrounding me. And Elden Ring, goddamn, helped me through it because there'd be points where like I'm about to do these shrooms and it's like I'm about to face my demons. I'm not looking for a good trip here. I'm looking for a trip to help me fix my problems. And I know that's going to be rough. So it feels like I'm about to walk through this boss door. Like I'm so scared. I'm overwhelmed and I'm underpowered for this battle I'm about to go into. And I learned in Elden Ring, you just gotta summon a couple friends. You got to just beat that problem's ass. If it didn't work the first time, you can take some steps back. Redo everything, figure out your plan, and come back at it another time.
Oh.
Like the issue's not going anywhere. Death is an idea, and it's not. It's just change. Things change, but we remain, and remaining, that gives us this, like, this added bonus to actually do things right.
Hmm. So, what anime are you watching? But you're done with that game now. So, like, what are you gonna play now?
Shit, I might go through a second playthrough. I ain't gonna lie to you, but I've been also back on my Call of Duty. I'm really waiting on that new God of War to come out and shit. So I've been just chilling. And I got my VR headset thanks to you, Grandma. So I need to be back on that more.
Yes, you do.
I
But
want to stream.
yeah, I was wondering like how you gonna stream when you gonna stream.
I mean, at this point, I have to move in like 2 months. I kind of already. I literally, like, my intuition be so dumb sometimes, Grandma. Like I knew last week that before the end of this year I'd be moving. I just knew it. I don't know why. It just felt like something that would just be happening this year for some reason. We ended up getting a call the other day of the house owners being like, "We gonna put your house up now, nigga." So we like,
What?
guess my time schedule's moved up, but I'm not afraid because my intuition already warned me.
Right,
And I've also had been forced into moving a lot of times in my life,
right.
to where I understand that I can only stay in places for a certain amount of time, then my circumstances must change.
Hmm. So, are you gonna move closer towards your business, or is it time to go south? Because I know we talked about that before.
Well, I thought about moving out of state for a couple months. Not like moving, but I have a couple, living options already on the floor where, I've worked for certain people and done stuff for certain people that are willing to do stuff for me. So, tradesies.
Hmm. Hmm. Okay.
But I've also, more importantly, recently realized how much of an asset I am.
Okay.
So it's like, I know no matter what, I'll be good just because I'm so goddamn useful. I'm so ready to help. I'm worth so much. Like, I'm never going to be put in a position of powerlessness because I don't. I'm not.
I have the power. Power.
Yeah, I have it. I do. I got it. It's on me. I'm sweet with it.
Oh,
I've done a lot. Like, people have always treated me like I've made so much money when I haven't gotten paid for like a lot of the things that I've done. And it's like, no, I've made a lot of shit happen off no budget. I've made events happen off of no budget at all.
like having no budget doesn't scare you.
Not at all. I've made most of my albums by myself, mixing and mastering, recording, all of it being me. So when it comes to what I can do, it's like I have no doubt what I can do. Like, when my problems come into play, or when other people get involved.
I guess. Then what's next? Like, you know which direction you're going, or are you just gonna catch this wave?
It's funny because it feels like I'm trying to decide my next direction, but I can already see that my direction has already been chosen. Like, I got some important meetings coming up, and I can tell that, like, at a certain point, this moving is obviously coinciding with something else.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, like the timing of me being forced to move right after one of the probably the best month of my career.
It's like you did it. Now what?
It's more like the universe is like, okay, you want more, you deserve more, so we're going to uproot you so that you have no choice but to go get the better that you deserve.
Ooh.
Or I'm feeling like it's more like a, we need you uprooted already because some shit's about to happen and we don't want you second guessing where you're going to be.
Ooh. Thanks, universe. appreciate you. Appreciate you for the heads up instead of it like happening during the happenings, you know?
Yeah, I pay a lot of attention. Like, I believe very deeply in the idea of situational awareness.
Hmm.
I don't think people aren't anywhere near aware enough of situational awareness for me, because it's like it's so situational awareness can show me exactly who to talk to in a situation to get to where I need to be.
Okay.
Situational awareness is like having uh, a UI in real life, like being able to see a screen, that screen on video games. It's like
Yeah.
that. I have that.
Oh. Oh. So I guess my next question is like, are you manifesting or are you just like gonna watch?
I'm always going to be unconsciously manifesting, you know, but I'm also just trying to make sure that I'm watching, that I'm there. Like, I understand that as much as I'm manifesting, there's already a written out path. There's already a decided journey for me that would make me the most happy.
Okay.
That's all. That's it. That's what I'm going on. That's where I'm at. I'm on that path and that path only.
Do you try to aspire for joy or happiness though? 'Cause I feel like joy is like more rooted in happiness. You feel it's so fleeting sometimes.
Well, I feel like life and everything else is fleeting, so I accept happiness as fleeting. I don't believe in permanent joy, just like I don't believe in permanent sadness. Like, everything comes in waves.
Okay. And you're just riding it, waiting for feet to hit.
Hell yeah, like, what else am I do? I'm not the ocean. I'm a drop. I'm chilling in this bitch. I'm here where I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be.
It's good that you're like accepting of that, or you have made peace with so much so far.
Yeah, at a certain point you kind of realize you don't really you don't have to, but what's the point in that? It's gonna, like, things are what they are, and you here. Enjoy it.
Hmm. Yeah. So, what are you gonna eat today?
And see, now you're asking the hard questions.
Have you drinking any water so far?
Yep, woke up, drunk me some water, snacked on a Pop Tart real quick so that I could smoke this wood.
Nice. And are you gonna cook? Because I know that's a special skill you don't like talking about too much.
I haven't been cooking much in the past couple years, just because, like, my kitchen here is messed up. But I feel like with me moving, cooking's going to get back to being a thing. I might even throw a couple dinner parties. Like, I want to get a house so I can do house parties and everything, and just have people over and have a great time.
Nice. It sounds like there are some goals to be met and some interesting and exciting things in your future. Do you have any? Hold on, let me get out of this hallway. I'm about to walk in the rain, but I am going down the stairs of my apartment to head towards this Buddhist meeting with my friend Yoko. So, are there any final words that you have for the youth, that you have for the adults, the unborn babies, the people of the past and future?
Yeah, trust yourself, love yourself, and most importantly, understand yourself. We have so many tools that can help you, like, find your path, find yourself, and understand yourself. Like, I think that's the biggest difference in between me and a lot of people. Well, it's not that they think that I know myself. They recognize that I know myself, but I know myself because I've put in so much time into understanding myself. and that is invaluable.
And what do you think helped you most to recognize yourself? Because people always say how, oh, you really know yourself or you really found yourself, but what steps or what life hacks do you have for the individual seeking to find them?
I guess you have to find out how what your passion, like your passion is what will be your biggest life hack. Like it's a different type of joy you get. It's a different type of drive and energy and just personality that comes to you when you're living in your purpose. Like every religion talks about it, every belief has this saying of, the path is already written, life is already written, God has already decided where things are going to go. And at a certain point that's true, because you are created by your circumstances. But now that you're aware, you have to understand that those circumstances pull you towards a deeper calling to yourself, because those circumstances didn't happen to you. Those circumstances are a third dimensional representation of the energy that you carry within you already.
Oh, okay. And do you think people can change?
I think people have no choice to change or destroy themselves.
I believe that. I believe that a lot. So we don't know. We're drinking water. We don't know what we're going to eat today. Have you practiced any yoga lately?
Nah, I haven't been doing working out as much as I need to. I plan on getting more into that, especially when I move. Like, it's crazy how much I've been manifesting more space.
And it's time.
That's it. For me, I don't see it as, oh, we need to lose this house type shit. I see it as God is upgrading us because we don't have enough space.
Yeah.
Certain things are happening in people's lives, and I can't talk about that right now. It's going to be a beautiful thing when it is talked about and when the news is out the bag. But like things are happening in people's lives, transformations are happening, and like we can't. This ain't gonna hold us in no more.
Nah.
Niggas leveling up.
Level up. Oh, what song are you listening to right now? Like that you have on repeat?
Hmm. I think the song I've been listening. Uh, I don't mean for it to sound cocky, but goddamn natural. Like at a certain point, I use it as motivation. To be like, stay in my realm. Like, don't worry about all the extra shit or what people want from you. Just be natural, and it doesn't mean like you know women don't wear makeup, men don't do this. It's like whatever feels natural for me. That's what natural is.
And what weed are we smoking on today?
Today I'm smoking on Medusa Farms. God damn, I believe he said this was root beer float that he put inside this Canagar. This big baller Canagar with 10 grams in it.
What?
I've been smoking this bitch since last night.
And you just be putting it out like, all right.
That shit 10 grams, grandma. I ain't smoking that shit all at once. I haven't been. I would if I was like, if I could go to an event and smoke this bitch, I'll smoke this fucking 10 grams so obnoxiously.
But
But
it's just
nah,
too
I'm
much.
just at the crib.
And
I'm
we do
humble
have
while I
new,
gotta be.
we got new music coming out. Any new events that you throw in over the next May month? Because this month is like going on halfway over now.
Um, I don't really have too many announcements just because I'm keeping things on the DL for now. You feel me? Like I definitely got some new music on the way. Um, I've definitely got some bigger bookings on the way that I'll be talking with after, you know, I get more concrete in this. You know, I don't like to just talk about things before they're solid. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I will say this. Yeah, I'm gonna say this here first. I can't tell you exactly what it is until a little bit later. But there is an opportunity coming towards me to help in a bigger way than I've ever been able to, and it's something that I've manifested off of something that I've done. And it made me realize how much I already knew how much I loved helping and teaching people, but this has helped give me an opportunity to do it on a platform much bigger than I thought would be available for me.
And where can we find you and creep on your life?
Yeah,
Website,
you know, you want to
Instagram,
creep on me,
Facebook.
my babies? Y'all can creep on me on my Instagram at Mike Fate, MikeFate. You can also check out my Spotify. That's been upgraded. Also, I still work with Top Shelf or Die, but I've started my own business, Believe in Fate LLC. So I'll be doing more things as that from now on, and you'll be seeing more of my logo out. You'll be seeing me more as a standalone company. So that's great, you know. I still work with Top Shelf or Die and everything. I'm still cool with Justin. That's my goddamn family, man. But at a certain point, it's like I need to separate myself and stand on my own to create my own foundation and be who I want to be. So that's what I'm doing.
That's so exciting to hear. I'm so grateful that you took this morning to speak to me going into our afternoon. And if you have any final words that you want to say without any prompts, then now's your chance.
Shout out to Kat for bringing me on here. I love you. You're amazing. Shout out to Justin from Top Shelf or Die. I love you. You're amazing. I appreciate you. Shout out to Big Cloud for bringing me out to my first festival last week. That was goddamn amazing. Shout out to Hash Bash for having me at my first Hash Bash last month. That was amazing. A lot of new firsts, a lot of shout outs. I'm going to say shout out to everybody who supported me in becoming myself, who's allowed me the freedom to like be me in whatever way that may be. Like, I love y'all for real.
We love you too. Thank you, White Fate. I just want to thank you for joining me on my second episode of the Social Butterfly Show. We will be coming to you from the past, speaking to you in the future, but in this present moment, I just want to say peace out to the internet. And I'm thankful you could join us today.
Peace.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Okay, bye for now.
Bye.